In 1975, English symphonic rock composer David Rohl assembled Mandalaband to record his compositions, and from their eponymous first album, the track Determination.
To this paradise with mortar bombs and tanks for liberation. Murdering and pillaging, burning temples for re-education. We're told that they are primitive, we're helping with our cause, the people's freedom. But I'm not so sure that this time the people would all be free. We're told that every man among us must father at least 3 half-caste children. All our cultures show the people we are far superior. That finally to peasants and ourselves we live in peace with one another. But I'm not so sure that after this I can live with me. This ancient nation live in exile rather than beneath us. Probably because they know already the real reason why we're here. To suffocate alternatives, start enforcement to the revolution. To supplement the workforce on the road to greater conflict is their way. the final round of self-capitulation. Tibet will rise again, protected by her Himalayan wall and height, and guided down the predetermined path by the living incarnation. They have one weapon, other cultures lack determination.
That was Determination by Mandalaband, and basically it began very abruptly with this piercing, winding, accelerating upward riff on that guitar, those high notes, really just cutting through. Yeah, really sheer, really. And yeah, I can think of a few intros to compare that to. Followed by blocky, thick Hammond keys in G minor. Yeah, and onward to the brisk galloping verses, G minor to C, basic in 5/4. Characterized by thick trebly bass, punctual spray toms and snare, oceany torrential Hammond. Lyrics that are not printed anywhere, that are kind of hard to decipher. The production a little bit murky, you could say. Wailing guitar solo in the 3 to 4.5 minute range. Lyrical high bendy sustains. Soaring higher amid heavier rhythmic intensity. And then this organ toccata that around 4:35 that presaged a slower, more serene passage, and giving the vocalist the spotlight here, and then tensing back up to the end. And the lineup is basically David Rohl oversees the project, and the band playing is, well, the musicians anyway became Sad Cafe when they added Paul Young. The vocals are handled by one David Durant, yeah. But all the people behind him are Sad Cafe guys. Yeah, they would record one more album. Actually, this was kind of like a one-off, and then they toured over the next year, and then Sad Cafe was like the spin-off when they added Mancunian vocalist Paul Young. Not the same guy as the street band singer who later became a highly successful solo singer during the 1980s. This Paul Young would later achieve fame as one of the two Pauls in Mike and the Mechanics. Yeah. Along with Paul Carrick. Yeah. Anyway, and the Mandalaband nameplate would be resurrected for the 1978 project, The Eye of Wonder Prophecies, which had a lot more musicians involved, including Justin Hayward doing one of his like guest vocals that he was very similar to Jeff Wayne's War of the Worlds, actually. Yeah, another thing that Hayward was involved in. Yeah. Let's hear one more track from the Mandalaband album, Roof of the World.
Satan's causing craters of desire. Dusty yellow sea of hate has grown this ancient land, where once the people of Tibet held freedom in their hands. So far away on the roof of the of a lost and dying race. The Dalai Lama waits in exile for the fateful day when the world mourn is passing away, and the teachings of his heritage will surely be erased. Broken monasteries they lie where once they stood so proud, a broken people headed by the Himalayan shroud. No one now can journey in to see what lies behind, to witness all those first reports of rape and genocide. So far away on the roof of the so people turn your heads. After all, what else can you do when there's scandal near a home with more spice to interest you? Let your dormant conscience lie, wrapped in blinded bird's truth, while your churning system equals returns, tragic tale, paragraph or two.
Okay, that was Mandalaband with Roof of the World from their 1975 self-titled album. And it began, went right into it with these galloping drums that fueled this organ guitar riff in D minor, melodramatic, almost demonic vocals. And around 2 minutes in, this flat, sharp chorded middle eight with some, very pretty major sevenths heard, followed by this wailing guitar solo amid hyperactive drums and this rising, frosty, yet kind of faint mellotron. The word Satan I kind of picked up on a couple of times, yeah, and it just further lending credence to the demonic impression. Anthemic delivery of the chorus line over this descending chordal pattern and this closed cadence, kind of tight guitar figure outro. Yeah, Roof of the World. And before that, Determination, two standouts from the 1975 self-titled Mandalaband release. A big kind of super project where you had like a composer, musical director, David Rohl, and a band of talented backing players, Manchester area musicians who would later go on to form Sad Cafe. And I was especially impressed by the drumming on this by Tony Cresswell. He was really playing, just playing up a hurricane there. And was oftentimes guitarist Ashley Mulford was rising to the challenge, as was keyboardist Vic Emerson. Yeah, and they would record one more album, kind of in a Mike Batt, Jeff Wayne type vein, song suite, and with even more musicians involved. And then Sad Cafe would record one album that their first album, Thanks to Ra, had like a sidelong song suite to it, and then several individual songs, and keeping this flame burning somewhat, with a bit more, you could say, West Coast adult oriented rock influence, with Little Feat elements at times, or comparable to the direction that 10cc were going in during the late 70s. Yeah, Eric Stewart actually produced one of their albums, Facades. I've profiled them on this channel before. Yeah. Anyway, just a whole talented family of musicians. Mandalaband, I guess, played on this double bill in June of 1976 when the Sex Pistols first made their way to Manchester. It was a concert that was kind of, at least I think the concert was arranged by Howard Devoto and Pete Shelley. Yeah, and so there's a lot of talk about that concert. Of course, it's all spoken from kind of the point of view of the Pistols and the Buzzcocks and those on their grapevine. The Mandela Band are only mentioned, but it was quite a historic event. I guess while less than 200 people were there, a lot of future big names were there. Stephen Morrissey was there. A couple of the future Joy Division guys were there. John Cooper Clarke was supposedly there. Like the whole future of Manchester, yeah, in attendance. I'd like to know, well, maybe I don't want to know what their impressions of Mandela Band were. I don't know if they really, if some of those young guys really had the listening acumen back in those days. Although some of them do now. Some of them have, it's interesting, have really come around on the music they may have been dismissive of at the time because they've gotten older. They know how to listen better for things. I mean, yeah, you can't necessarily expect some teenagers whose sole musical exposure has just been Top of the Pops and, you know, to necessarily be able to wrap their heads around something, the kind of music that we just heard. Yeah. Anyway, for more Rubies and Sapphires from the two Mandela Band albums, see the directory of albums by English M artists linked in the description below. And for the Sad Cafe albums, go over to the numeric alphabet at the top and click the S to bring up the S directory. Yeah. Like and subscribe, follow me on social media, share the video, and leave a comment if there are any observations you have about the track we just heard, the two tracks we just heard, the intensity, the interplay, the lyrics, if you could make them out or if you have them right in front of you and have some observations you'd like to add, and just the overall epic, crashing, torrential feel of these two tracks. Yeah. And until next time, this is Zaragon, the world's most air travel trimaximalist, signing off.